idea what the heck's going on. Okay. So, before we get started with the actual quest line, let's read through these. So, we have Anti-Magic Shell. It's a 1-minute cooldown that surrounds the Death Knight in an Anti-Magic Shell for 10 seconds, absorbing up to 86k magic damage based on maximum health, and preventing the application of harmful magical effects. Damage absorbed regenerates runic power. So, I have 288k health, and it's absorbing about 88k anyway. So, it's not that much, but still pretty good. Army of the Dead is, it costs 3 runes and it's a 10-minute cooldown, so it's pretty much what it does now, I think. Chains of Ice is a 70% slow for 8 seconds. That's pretty intense. Chains of Ice needs to be bound then. Let's put that somewhere. Alright. Let's definitely put that somewhere. Control Undead. It dominates the target undead creature, forcing it to do your bidding. While controlled, the undead minion's haste is reduced by 30%, lasts up to 5 minutes. Okay, I want to bind that too, so I can enslave me some munions. Put that over here. I guess at 3. We don't have Lichborn anymore, I don't think. Dark Transformation. Transform your ghoul into a powerful undead monstrosity for 20 seconds. Now it's on a 1-minute cooldown. So instead of it being based on your death coils, it's a 1-minute cooldown just in general. Death and Decay. Corrupts the ground around the Death Knight. I think that's still what I have bound here. Nope, it's not. I just transformed my ghoul. Alright. Where's Death and Decay then? Just this right here. Alright, same as it was before. Death Coil fires a blast of unholy energy at the target. It's a 40-yard range, causing a certain amount of damage and restoring 10 energy to your ghoul. Okay. So it still does affect your ghoul, but it's energy related. Death Gate, we already know what that is. Death Grip, it's on a 20-second cooldown. Just pulls your target to you. Death Strike is active mitigation. Focus a dark power under strike that deals a certain amount of damage and heals you for 40% of all the damage taken in the last 6 seconds. What? Whoa, that's kind of cool. But it heals you based on the damage you've taken. Alright. Festering Strike. It deals a certain amount of physical damage and infects the target with 1 to 3 festering wounds. And a festering wound is a pustulant lesion. Gross. That may be burst by Scourge Strike, dealing a certain amount of damage and generating 3 runic power. Okay. So I think that's kind of what Unholy DKs do, is they're going to be applying festering wounds and then busting them open, which is gross. But that'll be fun to play with. IBF is now a 3-minute cooldown still, I guess. And it becomes immune to stun and reduces all damage taken by 20% for 8 seconds. Okay. Mind Freeze is still your pummel. Same thing. Outbreak is on a 6-second cooldown. It deals a certain amount of shadow damage and surrounds target in a miasma, lasting for 6 seconds. That causes the target and all nearby enemies to be infected with Virulent Plague. Oh, nice. That's cool. It's only a 6-second cooldown. Virulent Plague is a disease that deals a certain amount of shadow damage every 3 seconds for 21 seconds and erupts when the infected target dies, dealing a certain amount of shadow damage split evenly by nearby enemies. The disease also has a 30% chance to erupt each time it deals damage. Okay, that's cool. Interesting. I think this is just like your unholy dot, basically. You can think of it that way. You only have 1 dot, I believe. Path of Frost, same thing as it was before, I believe. Raise ally, that's your res. Okay, so not all classes have res, but Unholy DK still does. That's cool. Raise Dead, it's pulling up the ghoul. Scourge Strike is pretty much the same, it looks like. It deals some physical damage, some shadow damage, and it triggers a single stack of Festering Wound if it's present on the target. Okay. Soul Reaper is a talent that I chose. My talents are kind of weird. I'll have to look through these and see which ones we actually want. But I went ahead and took the Soul Reaper. Instead of it being like an execute, it detonates up to 3 festering wounds in the target. So that's kind of interesting. It's a 20-second cooldown as well. So it's a longer cooldown, but we'll have to see if it's more powerful or not with festering wounds. Gargoyle is a 3-minute cooldown. It's pretty much the same as before. This is a talent that I took. I think all these are talents, so I'm not really going to read these right now because we can read them later. So Dark Sucker is when you kill an enemy, basically it makes your victory rush, or makes your death rate be a victory rush, basically. Kind of, except I think it doesn't really work the same as it used to, so it still just heals you for more damage that you've taken, I guess. It's kind of strange. This Advance is a pass that makes you run faster all the time. This is also a talent. This is a talent. This is your Mastery. All shadow damage is increased by 36%. This is also this is a talent as well. But we'll have to read all these, see which ones we actually want. This is just a passive. This is not a talent. This is just how it works. When you spend runic power, you have a 1% chance per runic power spent to increase your rune regen rate by 100% for 3 seconds. Okay, that's cool. This is also a talent, and this is not a talent. This is just how it is. Your auto attacks have a chance to make your next death coil cast on runic power or cost on runic power. That's cool. All right, so now we have a lot of abilities that we got through talents. So I'm gonna look at my Dark Sucker. I'm pretty sure Dark Sucker. I'm pretty sure we can take a look at these real quick because these are different, obviously, depending on which talents you take. But anyway, all will serve. Your Raise Dead spell summons an additional skeletal minion, and its cooldown is removed. So this guy right here. So now I have a ghoul and a skeleton, which is pretty cool. Risen Skulker. You can have Bursting Sores, which is when a Festering Wound bursts. It also deals 20% of its normal damage to all enemies within 8 yards of the target. So if you want AoE, that's good. This seems really good, though. Ebon Fever. Virulent Plague deals its damage 50% more frequently. So your dot ticks 50% more often, which seems pretty cool. But I just kind of want to have another pet, so that's what I have right now. Infected Claws. Your Ghoul's Claw attack has 50% chance to cause a Festering Wound on the target. So that's cool. Festering Wounds seem like a big deal, so I'm going to go ahead and try that just for fun. But you can also have this one, where Festering Strike now applies 1 to 5 Festering Wounds, and the runic power gain from triggering a Festering Wound is increased by 3. So that also seems really, really nice. I'm just kind of going to try out a bunch of these talents while I'm leveling around and see what I like to mess around with. But anyway, this one also says your next 5 successful auto attacks will infect your target with Festering Wounds. So that's pretty nuts too. That's on a minute cooldown though, so you have like a guaranteed one rather than this one seems pretty good though too, because it applies them, which is cool. Anyway, you have Unholy Frenzy. When a Festering Wound bursts, your ghoul gains 100% increased attack speed for 3 seconds. That's kind of fun. If you want to be pet focused, I might even do this one. I might even do this one for maximum like pet effectiveness, just for fun. This one does, the Castigator, each Scourge Strike, Critical Strike, bursts an additional Festering Wound. So that's kind of cool. Hey, Cowbells. Hit him with the flex for 8 months in a row, man. I appreciate that, dude. Thank you very much, man. This one, Clawing Shadows. It's a 1 rune, 30-yard range ability where you deal a certain amount of shadow damage to the target and trigger a single stack of Festering Wound if it is present on the target. So this replaces Scourge Strike. Basically, it makes Scourge Strike ranged. Interesting. That's kind of cool. Might deal less damage than Scourge Strike. No, it deals about the same. Maybe just only a little bit less. That's kind of cool. Might try that too today. A Sludge Belcher. Gross. Raise Dead now summons an Abomination instead of a Ghoul with improved innate abilities. That seems really cool. I kind of want to try that one, but it's not yet in, is what it says. NYI means not yet in. Asphyxiate, this is kind of weird. It's 20-yard range. It's a 2-minute cooldown. Channel dark energies that lift the enemy off the ground, crushing their throat and stunning them for 6 seconds, or until your channel ends. Can be channeled while moving, but it's a 2-minute cooldown for a 6-second stun? That's, I don't know. It's a long cooldown. Maybe you could do this in like certain arena comps or something where it'd be good. Alright, Debilitating Infestation. This is what I'm using right now. All enemies affected by Outbreak are snared by 50% for 3 seconds. That's kind of just a snare. This one might be kind of cool to try out while we're playing, though. Corpse Shield. For the next 10 seconds, 90% of all damage you take is transferred to your ghoul. If your ghoul is slain while this spell is active, it cannot be resummoned for 30 seconds. That's kind of a cool defensive cooldown for an Unholy DK. Whenever you feel like you're gonna take a lot of damage, just make all that damage go to your ghoul, basically. But they could die pretty quickly, I guess. Like, 144k is like 1 Blade Storm tick, so pretty much it's dead instantly. Then you just can't resummon it. But anyway, your anti-magic shell with Spell Eater is 20% larger and lasts 5 seconds longer. That's nice. Makes it a little bit more effective. Death's Flight means that you can actually grip yourself to a friendly target or pet, but it replaces Death Grip, which is kind of lame. And it's on a 1.5 minute cooldown, so that's kind of weird. Like, you lose a helpful 20-second cooldown ability to gain a less helpful 1.5 minute cooldown. Maybe it has specific uses in PvE or something, where you got to get somewhere quick and you grip yourself over there. But Shadow Infusion, dealing damage with Death Coil will decrease the cooldown of Dark Transformation by 2 seconds. That's kind of like Anger Management, sort of. It's kind of cool. Make your big cooldown come up more often. Your big daddy one. Anyway, Necrosis. Death Coil now has 25% chance to cause Virulent Plague to erupt when it damages infected enemies. That's kind of cool. That's the one I guess I'm just talented for right now, just to try it out, I guess. And Profane Pathogens. This causes all of your Virulent Plague effects to instantly erupt. That's kind of cool. It's like a flame explosion kind of thing that enhanced shamans do, I guess. I forget what it's called now. But anyway, that's kind of what it reminds me of. Dark Arbiter. Summon a Valkyr to assist you in combat. The Valkyr grows more powerful as you spend runic power. It replaces summon Gargoyle, though, so it's still 3-minute cooldown, but you can sort of, you know, buff up that ability. That's kind of seems cool. It's not yet in, so I can't try it now. Defile. Wasn't really impressed with Defile before. I'm not really impressed with it right now, but it's there for people in PvE because it's good in PvE, I guess. Then Soul Reaper, which is the one I'm going to try, where it strikes an enemy for a certain amount of physical damage, and after 5 seconds, up to 3 festering wounds in the target will burst. So that's what Unholy DKs are working with right now. I'm going to definitely have to play around with this spec a lot because the dots and the festering wound mechanics seem very, very important to the class. But in terms of me, like, understanding it and actually knowing what's going on, I'll probably have to play it. But that's the abilities and talents for Unholy DK. I think next step is to continue on in our artifact mission. Let's do it.